selling baking soda and gave people gum.
Exactly.
And then he's like, well, wait a second. People chew gum every day.
Mm-hmm.
They use baking soda once a month.
Yeah. So or not even.
And so he switched his business model and focused on the baking soda.
Yeah.
And so, you see it in, like, Apple right now, they make the majority of the profit off of the cloud subscription services. So people usually start, all right, we can get the business started here, but then they keep growing towards something that can be more accessible.
Got you. So, how many classes did you do before you were like, we need employees?
I mean,
dude.
So we did.
When was the mac and cheese class? Because that was really.
And it was like the fourth class.
That was really went like crazy.
That was third.
Yeah.
So we did the risotto one, which we had, Ian and a couple people, and we were like, getting these things done, and then we did the gnocchi one, which I think we brought in.
Well, the risotto class that we did, that's when our technology was such that we were driving every kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then an hour later logging in and being like, hey, you
just
saw me at
that's
your
right.
front door.
I delivered.
And then,
exactly. I delivered for that.
Sucio is delivering those. And then the gnocchi, when you were talking about printing the labels, that's when we learned to ship this stuff. Because we were like, someone else could do this, And
it's funny.
Yeah, and then the mac and cheese, that was when the game changed.
Yeah. And so we had a day where we were like, all right, we've got to make 500 kits. And we're thinking about it kind of like service, which it isn't the same.
It's not even close.
It's like the difference between cutting cheese and putting it into 600 pans or Lexan.
Yeah.
To cutting cheese and putting all the cheese into its own little bag.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bagging the product.
Yeah. And so that is when we just called in a team. Basically, Tyler cut himself.
Yeah. And just to put in perspective, basically it's like, all right, because the mindset of the chef. It's like, I can do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like,
I can
500 portions, whatever. But then legitimately it's like, I order the cheese. They're like, this is going to be 2 pallets of cheese. We're at our house. And then we're like, all right, well, we need something larger than our house. So we literally just started calling every single catering company because they were all not doing anything because of COVID. And then legitimately, that was we sold all these things. Again, you sell it first, then you figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So
which is very important. A lot of people don't understand
that. Is true. It is very, very important to do that.
That's what I like to do. Write a menu.
Yeah.
And then figure out how to cook it.
Exactly. Push yourself. Commit yourself and then push yourself to get there. That's what all the guys say. But, we did it, and literally we woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and me and Jason literally took downloaded every single phone number for every single catering company in the Bay Area. Started calling all of them. And then legitimately, one dude picked up. He was down the street in Oakland. He was like, I'll let you share my kitchen. Yeah. And so, we had everything delivered there. They had a walk-in, which was better than our single-door fridge, which we had at the time. Mm. And then, they had a freezer to freeze ice packs and stuff. And then, I'm in there, and I'm like, dude, 500 portions of cheese, no problem. 7 hours later, you know what I mean? I'm cutting cheese, but then, legitimately, you get to that point, you're not paying attention. So I did cut my hand pretty bad. Yeah, I cut my hand real bad. Went to the emergency room. You know what I mean? Legitimately called up Jay. I was like, dude, we're gonna need some reinforcements, man. Yeah. So I, no joke, went to the emergency room. Jason literally called every living human being that we knew. It was like, can you come in? I went to the emergency room, got 12 stitches in my hand, came back at 10:30 p.m., and there were 25 people there putting milk in delis, and this is when we were taking the milk, putting it in delis, deliing it, wrapping it in plastic wrap. You know what I mean? Every project was just so tedious.
Yeah. And at the time, honestly, I was worried that Tyler was going to get COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was when there was lines around the hospital.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was in the hospital.
People with COVID symptoms, and people are in the hazmat suits.
Was that June?
No, dude. This is April 2020.
Beginning of April.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was scary.
So that's a lot of growth quickly.
Dude, yeah, it was painful. We literally were up. We stayed up for 23 hours straight
to get all that work done on those shipments.
Yeah, I mean, I cut my hand, Sarah. You know what I mean. The next day,
It was after Tyler cut his hand. The next day, we woke up at we went to bed at 4 a.m. and woke up at 7, and Sarah had a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you were like, we worked too hard.
I called Mitch and I'm like, yo, how do you get all the work done and not overwork people?
Like, we're legitimately like asking that question.
Jesus.
And then it's like, hire other people. We're like,
Yeah. He's probably looking at you like, what the fuck?
I was like, Mitch, we got something on our hands. This could be big, but this is crazy.
It's like taking us out, dude.
People are dropping.
Oh my god, we were dropping, man, but we still did it.
Yeah.
Yo, David Sucio. You want to check out David Sucio's mac and cheese class? You just go to YouTube, check it out. Literally, Dave taught the class because I literally had my hand wrapped up in gauze because I could not do it.
Yeah, right.
The broiler scene, one of the most epic scenes that we have ever done.
Yeah,
true. We need to do more appliance impressions.
Yo, legitimately, Jay and Dave should just sell appliances. Like, just start working
This
for
is what
Home
it
Depot.
does.
Start working for, like, Kenmore, you know what I mean?
you're like showing the 3 models. That like it's one song. You know what I mean? You're like it's like this is your Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Your Kid Rock broiler,
Kid Rock, bro.
And then the hotter the broiler, the heavier the metal that is.
That's true. This is the Cannibal Corpse.
Exactly. Yeah. You start with the Kid Rock.
That's awesome. So, let's get into the Shark Tank business.
Let's get it.
How did this all happen? What's the first thing that happened that was like popped into your head? Shark Tank. Because for me, I know about the show. I've never watched it in my life.
I mean, that's all Jay right there.
So we start Truffle Shuffle.
Yeah.
And there's a couple like keys to success.
Yeah.
To like really solidify your success, if you will. One is getting the O Magazine. One is getting like a feature in Food and Wine, and a massive one is getting on Shark Tank, right? Yeah. And so we're building the business, and we're trying to do the things to help make sure the business is successful in the long term. And Shark Tank was always on our hit list for that. And honestly, I think the biggest thing for us was trying to find someone that we could work with that could help us understand how to build a world-class business.
Right.
Understood.
And so ultimately, that was kind of our biggest attractor to it.
So you were searching for knowledge rather than money, basically.
Knowledge and that plus something.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody that can take you to the next step where you wanted to go.
I mean, honestly, you know what I mean? Like, as someone that never really watched show or whatever, like, I didn't really have that many opinions about it. But then once we started, like, when I started studying it, like, it really is a, beautiful concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it is entrepreneurship in America, like, right there.
Kickstart your life.
But, if I could add my 2 cents when we started thinking about Shark Tank, right? Was when Jay and I were doing product demos at Oakville Grocery, right? First place that ever let us sell truffle salts. And legitimately...
before Whole Foods.
Before Whole Foods. They're the first guys that ever let us in a door, in a building to sell a product, right?
Oakville Grocery.
Right, because before that, we go try to sell the chefs.
JCB.
Dude, shout out to JCB.
That guy's the man.
Love you, JCB.
Word up.
Yeah, that guy's the man. And so, legitimately... we would be there selling truffle salt on the weekends, getting that wine traffic. Like, if you rolled in there Saturday, Sunday in the summer of 2019, it was me and Jason selling you truffle salt. Like, if you walked in the door.
Pitch? I walk in the door. Dude. What am I walking into?
I mean, legitimately, it was like,
hey, you with the face, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? You walk in, it's like, we have a selection of Balinese truffle salt, little goat cheese. Right, some sourdough crackers, the finest setup. I know you've been all day wine tasting, and I know you need a snack right now. So come over here and check this out.
That's a good.
And then as you go into it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible." Are you guys like, "Oh no, we're the founders," and they're like, "Oh, that's incredible." And then Jason's like, "Yeah, we're actually going to be on Shark Tank." So I'm telling you. in 2019 in the summer,
he manifested that
the
shit.
seeds were being sown for us to be on Shark Tank. Of course, we did not have anything lined up on Shark Tank. There was nothing lined up, but it's like, we're going to be there. And then it's like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to be on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, season 12, like, at some point or whatever.
Yeah, we literally would tell, like, not just, like, people, but, like, hundreds of people.
Like group after group. And then they would go in the back and get their sandwiches like, yo, you guys hear that those guys are going to be on Shark Tank?
And they would just load up on product.
Yeah.
Right?
Yo, go get this. Because that way later when you see our episode, you can tell all your friends.
And you found it first. And literally they'd be like, are you really? And we'd be like, season 12, episode 17.
Yeah, for real.
And people would be like, what?
You're like, oh
like,
my God, really? Like, yeah.
And it's actually happening.
Now it's actually happening.
Now it's actually
It's
happening.
season 12, episode 17.
18, yeah. But yeah.
You guys called it.
I mean, dude, Jay is like prophet, man. He's calling that back in the day. Yeah.
All right.
You know, I think the universe responds to that. You know,
Yes,
I look at it like kids or a dog or whatever. You know, like if they consistently say they want the same thing, eventually they will get that. And so we've just tried to be very strategic like that in this business. Like, hey, we want to go on Shark Tank. We want to be in O Magazine. We want to grow the business. We want to hit this number in revenue. And then you say it enough times and your brain figures out a way to get it done, you know? Mm-hmm. And then the other part of that comes with that is at some point you get to a point where you achieve all those things and you're like, well, man, we got to set bigger goals now.
Yeah, right.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You guys start talking about, bigger stuff.
Yeah. So what was the first step to getting onto Shark Tank?
So we had two kind of first steps. Mm-hmm. One was we tried to find someone that worked at Shark Tank.
Okay.
Right? So, like, we tried to find, like, backdoor ways onto Shark Tank.
Heard.
And then the other was in our efforts to find a backdoor way onto Shark Tank, which was we got invited to Terry Hatcher's birthday party.
Oh.
And her show was on ABC, so we're like, yo, if we go down there, maybe we'll meet someone that worked on Shark Tank. And so we went down there, and on our trip down there, literally Shark Tank posted an open casting call.
Yeah.
And so we submitted, we booked a plane ticket right then and there for the first open casting call of the season for season 12.
Yeah.
And so we went down there, ended up meeting someone that had worked on the editing part of Shark Tank, and just talked to him about the show, and he talked to us about how to do the pitch and everything.
Really?
And
so you guys had some insider information going in.
So he like helped pre-coach us for the pitch.
Got you.
For like the pitch, and was very helpful. We're not allowed to say his name.
Heard.
And so then we, left that party, went back to our real life, and then eventually it was like January 10th was the Shark Tank pitch date.
Yeah.
And so they did it during CES, which is like a big technology conference in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so we were on like the top floor, like this wing in the Venetian, and literally like 5,000 people lined up. And I flew out the night before, and as we're getting ready for this thing, our mysterious mentor here told us to go to the pitch like we're going on the show. And so we found a company called Next Day Trade Show in Vegas, and literally had like an entire display made. So I fly in, pick all this stuff up, or actually Tyler's girlfriend picked it all up. Like,
Latoya literally is like, it's like we order all this stuff. It's like, that's always the downfall of dating someone like us, is like pulled into crazy ass projects.
You gotta work.
It's like, hey, can you do me a favor? You know what I mean? It's like, all right, can you go to this trade show spot and pick up all this crazy ass stuff that we ordered? It's just like packing her car, but
Yeah.
Shout out to Latoya, love you, thank you. But
thank you, Latoya.
But legitimately, she goes there, and like I was saying, we went on there as if we're going on the show. So like we have a full life-size cutout of the dude that makes the salt in a background and a table and banners and all this stuff, dude.
We brought samples.